Go ahead. Here we go, Wally.
And we're back.
Take it away, Wally.
Yes, this
Week's
week
review.
we watched 2 episodes of a Netflix series called Home Game.
Very good.
The first episode that we watched was episode 6. It's titled Catch Fétiche.
Fétiche.
Yep, and it's in Kinshasa. It was shot in Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And they have a little bit of an opening, but then they cut to black and they show a quote which said, "If Shakespeare were alive today, he would be writing wrestling shows by none other than Chris Jericho."
Yes.
Before we start, and I interrupt you and you get really mad, let's put a voodoo spell on Wally.
Yes.
Can we figure out how to put voodoo on Wally? Google that.
Thank you.
Google
that's
that.
fantastic of you. So Kinshasa
Make
is
smoke
mostly,
come out of his mouth or something. Why?
is mostly a Christian city. Well, he said millions, I think. I don't remember.
Sure.
But
It's
with
a
a
big city
variety.
in pandemic.
That's true. But they have a variety of lesser known spiritual beliefs as part of their culture. And one of these lesser known beliefs is Fétiche, which is basically voodoo. So in Kinshasa, Fétiche is incorporated into the wrestling culture, and wrestlers perform voodoo in the ring because you have to both be a wrestler, but you have to perform Fétiche at some point during the match. It's not just like straight wrestling. Yeah. The matches are choreographed, but the athleticism is real, and the goal is to win over the crowd in every single match, just like, all other types of wrestling. Professional wrestling. When the crowds are bigger, wrestlers will do anything to put on a show and win over the fans. We meet a lady who says, "The bigger the show, the more I'm going to do crazy stuff."
Right. The women's champion.
Oh,
yeah. Springtime is when the wrestlers are preparing for the biggest show, which is held on the country's Liberation Day holiday. We see some wrestlers who are practicing outside on a thin plastic mat. Doesn't look like it's giving them much cushioning from the ground.
Ow. No.
Yeah.
No. Not that comfortable.
Nope. And the first wrestler we meet was it Giga?
Yeah.
Yeah, Giga. Okay.
Giga.
Giga the Beast. He is the champion of West Kinshasa. They talk about how the communities are very proud of their best wrestlers, and thousands will gather to watch their matches. It's 6 days before the match, and Giga is working out with bare minimum equipment. I mean, all he had was a pulley weight and a barbell.
But he's pretty jacked.
Yeah, he is.
He's pretty jacked considering what he has to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
watching
says that-
him work out was sad.
Yeah, it was. He says he wakes up, he works out every morning. He says that without training, he has no strength, so he trains every day. We see him on the mat ring, and he's stretching and preparing to practice with his partner. And he's talking about that wrestling has to come before the Fétiche, so you need to be like an Olympic level wrestler in Greco-Roman wrestling before incorporating the Fétiche in. So you can't just be some random guy off the street.
Yeah, these dudes definitely are putting on wrestling clinics too, as we see later.
Yeah. So he's been wrestling since he was a kid, and because he watched his older brothers wrestle. And they say that despite his technique, if he doesn't use Fétiche, it's very difficult to win, to move up. Just like American wrestling, a wrestler wins by pinning his or her opponent, but Fétiche inspires the narrative of the match, showcasing the athleticism of the wrestlers, and the magic from Fétiche is what makes the match captivating to the crowd.
And it is very captivating later
It
when
is.
we actually see it. It's awesome.
Yeah. We have 4 days until the match, and we meet the Messina District twin fighters, Zuzi Bankaka and his brother Simba Bankaka, and they are Lipasa, which I'm assuming is probably, I can't remember what the language was, but it's probably twin in their language. So Zuzi uses the Fétiche spells from outside the ring, while Simba is the physical wrestler who performs in the ring.
I thought this was cool how they
Yeah, they're one in the same. Yeah.
they're separated but one in the same or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
Steal some of these ideas, WWE. Jeez. Voodoo matches. Come on.
No. WWE would go in a super racist way.
Oh, yeah, of course they would.
Yes, of course I would.
Yeah, they can't handle that with kid gloves.
So Congolese wrestling started in the 60s after the end of the colonial rule. The first pro wrestler was Kili Lituka, who was well known in the Congo and often beat European wrestlers. But in 1965, there was a dictator who took control of the country and banned all Western practices, which meant that European-style wrestling couldn't continue on. So wrestling was on its last legs when basically the godfather, the pioneer of catch fétiche, Edingui Moto, created catch fétiche.
Yeah, because it would count as a cultural thing.
Yeah, it would count as traditionally being a uniquely Congolese tradition. So when we meet him, he starts his head on fire, and you hear the guy behind the camera go, "Is your hair on fire?"
Let me show you something real quick. Let me burn my own head.
And I saw like red flames up there. I don't know.
How do you do this? How do they do this?
I don't know.
It doesn't feel good.
No. So like we said, he combined the European wrestling style. Yeah, he is no. He combined the European wrestling with Congolese fétiche, which made it a uniquely Congolese tradition. Without fétiche, wrestling was nothing in the Congo, but it became the top sport in the 70s. And now wrestling is looked after by the Congolese Wrestling Federation. We go to 2 days before the match. What'd you say?
Said CWF.
CWF, yeah.
Well known.
We go to 2 days before the match, and the twins return to their village. Their spirituality comes from the village and is necessary for the fétiche, and it's the source of their power. Their grandfather performs some prayers over them because he's the spiritual throne of the village, which makes him very important, almost like a small god. And they likened him to Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
a little problematic, but okay.
Yeah, they're very proud of their wrestling and fétiche, and they said that without catch fétiche, the world wouldn't know anything about them. 1 day before the match, and Giga is looking at old pictures of him from his earlier wrestling days with his wife and a whole bunch of kids. So he had 4 kids with his wife, and then his sister, who had passed away, she left him 5 other kids. So he's taking care of 9 altogether.
9 kids.
Yeah,
Yikes.
Jesus. I don't know how people do 2, let alone.
I barely make it through each day. Can't imagine having 9. I have fist fights. I literally have fist fights every day at this point now. It's like I'm secretly attacked, and have to fight my way through the day, literally. I can't imagine fighting 9 children at once.
Man, Jesus.
Unless I could put them together as like some type of army against somebody, like if I sent them to your apartment, Wally, and I just kick his ass. Just leave him laying.
I could fight 9 kids at once.
You think you could beat up 9 kids at the same time?
How old?
Yeah.
How old? I don't know. Varying ages. They're not all the same age like the Ninja Turtles.
12 and under?
Sure, yeah. 12 and
12
under.
and under?
But there's 9 of them.
I could do that.
Yeah.
What's your maximum? What's your maximum amount of kids you could beat up at once?
12 and under?
Yeah. Like
20.
13? 20 kids? They could pin you down easy. They're like animals. Like, they could jump on you and hold you down.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but once
I think
the bus
12.
one open, they all get scared.
Oh, you're going to scare them.
Hard way.
You're going to hard play. Oh, my God.
Oh Jesus.
That one off. That's quick.
Anyways, we're gonna go back to this. He says he wrestles as a source of income, and it's just a way to provide food and send his kids, the 9 kids, to school so that they can learn to read and write. Like basic stuff.
Very honorable. But then we see another guy later who's like,
Yeah.
they don't make a lot of money. So how is he?
Yeah.
I don't
The
know.
coach, I guess he's a coach. He was saying that pro wrestling is for fame and just barely enough money to live on. It's like,
Yeah. So how is he
okay.
providing for 9 kids? But he is a top guy. So maybe
he
that's
is.
the difference.
Yeah. So finally, we get to Liberation Day, and they have a parade, which draws even more people to the show. The ring is made of steel and wood. I mean, it looks like a normal ring. It just only has one single layer of exercise mats on top of it. So again, not a
This
lot
looks
of.
like a crappy training ring.
This looks like a
Yeah.
GCW even worse.
Oh, man.
I don't know if it can get worse, but yeah.
That was a bad ring.
They do have front row seating for VIPs, dignitaries, and witch doctors.
Oh, of course, the witch doctors.
Naturally.
Yeah.
And we get to meet three wrestlers who just for shout outs, basically. We meet Death Punch, who is only happy if he actually kills his opponent.
Wow.
Crocodile's Tail, who will kill you if he takes you down in water.
Of course.
And Queen
Mhm.
Shakira, who rips out men's testicles so they can no longer give birth.
Yes.
Yikes.
These were their own words. Yeah.
Yikes.
This is
I love it.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, this is essentially what WWE does.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's what they
Except
They had an pull your eye out match.
do? Eye for an eye match?
Yeah.
But the thing with WWF people, I don't really WWE people, I don't believe them. I believe these people
That's
they
true.
want to actually kill each other. So, we see a montage of the undercard wrestlers trying to steal the show with time freezing, hamster
Yes.
headbutts,
Yes.
and throwing cash into the crowd, which
they
almost
said that
started
was
a riot.
an actual riot.
Yeah. You actually saw a police officer with his nightclub going to swing at people.
Oh, to be a cop in the Congo.
Yeah.
What the hell is that like?
Jesus, I can't even imagine. The first headlining match is Giga with his partner, with a up and coming partner, Elogi, for a tag team championship. Now, Giga is the popular star who's everybody knows him. He's over, and Elogi is the rising talent that they're trying to get him over. They're trying to get people so obviously Elogi has to take a beating to start the match, but
Takes all the bumps.
Yeah, he takes an accidental real elbow to the face, which causes him to start bleeding.
Hard way.
Yep, hard-weight him, and they make him get out of the match. They stop. They force him to stop fighting.
They have better medical practices than they do in WWE.
Yes.
Where they tell people like Orton to split someone's head open on purpose.
Yeah. Giga needs to finish the match on his own, but he essentially gets a hot tag and he starts clearing house.
Oh yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah. He talks about when he gets in the ring, he sees 2 or 4 spirits on either side of him that only he can see. That is his fetiche that he uses. So eventually he uses the spirits that only he can see to hypnotize his 2 opponents, and he does a double headbutt to knock both of them out and cover them both for the win.
A noggin knocker, if you
I
want.
do feel like between hypnotizing and freezing time and stuff, there's a lot of hard stops in these matches when it comes to Fétiche, where everything just stops.
Yeah. They love time freezing. They really do.
I love when they show him going to the match and he's like Rocky. He's got all kids with him and he's running to the match. Is this real? Is this how he got there? He just ran there from West Congo with a crew of 40 children around him, 9 of which are his own.
So the next match, the headline, the main event, is La Pasa, the twins, versus Sakura Mfumu.
Which one of the dudes is the like legend guy, right? One of them is like the legend who came up with Fétiche, who set his own head on fire. Isn't one of those guys him?
He's not in the match.
I thought he
Or
was.
at least not in one of the. He might have been in one of the.
I thought he was in this match.
Oh, he might have been in the one of the
Right.
undercard matches.
Okay.
So obviously Simba is in the ring and Zuzi is outside of it. Simba says that when because they do like a intercut with their interviews. So they're showing you the match, but they're also showing you interviews that happened beforehand.
Yeah, it's well produced. The show is well produced. Who's the dude who's the narrator too? He's great.
Oh, I like. Yeah, his voice.
Mark
is right.
Strong.
Who's a bad guy in a million movies? Isn't he in? What's that? What was that movie we watched? It was a crazy like James Bond movie. He's in that, isn't he?
He's in The Kingsman.
Yeah, that was
in
it.
that.
That's it. Kingsman. He's in that.
Oh, yeah. He's Lancelot. No,
yeah, he's like the guy who provides the weapons to
Lancelot is what's his face? The English dude.
This guy.
He's in everything. Mark Strong's in so many things.
He's the bad guy in Kick-Ass.
He's the bad guy in
Sherlock Holmes as well.
Sherlock Holmes that we just watched not that long ago.
And in Green Lantern. No, he's
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Yes, he's in that too.
He's in so much stuff. He's great.
Damn, this guy's in a lot.
He does an awesome job narrating too. I'm like,
oh he's the bad guy in Shazam. Jesus.
Yes, he is too. Yep.
He's the guy. Isn't he in like a Jaguar commercial? He's like, "It's good to be bad," something like that.
I could see. Yeah, I can see that.
I think he is. Yeah.
Anyways, so he's doing that's his voice.
Yeah, that's him narrating. He narrated all the episodes.
He's in the Dark Crystal, this TV show.
Oh, did you ever finish that?
Oh yes, he was. He was Dark
Crystal. The movie. I couldn't get into the show because the movie was so bad.
You're making Mike so angry right now. He's gonna do some catch Fétiche to you.
Yes.
What is it, like a 90-minute movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a short movie.
It took me like 8 or 10 like sit and watches to get through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like there were times where I'd watch 5 minutes and go, that was enough.
Mike's gonna turn you into a goat.
Yes.
Spoiler.
Oh, spoilers, man. Spoilers. Anyways, Simba in his interview says that when he fights, he's in two pieces. One of them is in him in the ring, and the other is outside of it in his brother. So they're really playing up the two parts as one. We see Sakura freeze in Simba inside the ring, and then he looks at Zuzi and he tries to do the same, but it breaks his concentration, which allows Simba to break the spell, which then allows Zuzi to break the spell as well. So he starts to retreat, and Sakura is allowed to focus on Simba again. Zuzi says that when his brother is in trouble in the ring, he can feel it spiritually, and this is when he needs to concentrate the most and really put on a good show for the crowd. Sakura goes to his corner for a finishing spell, which allows the twins to get a coffin in the ring, and they use their Fétiche to force Sakura into it.
Oh,
they cover the coffin with a cloth, a blanket, and Simba comes out from under it with a baby goat because they changed Sakura into a baby goat.
Hey, yes, what happens, man?
Awesome.
That baby goat plays it cool too. He's not freaking out even a little.
No. To be fair, they didn't pin the goat, so really, they never should have technically won the match.
Smart booking. He never took a pin.
True.
But they win the match. And they say that one of the final lines is something like, "Catch Fétiche plays to the crowd, and it compels you to believe." So
it's pretty good.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Was very enjoyable.
They're actually pretty good wrestlers too. Actually, if you like watch the actual wrestling, not the Fétiche, the catch.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to be an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah, they're good wrestlers.
Yep.
Very good.
Anything else from this episode that you guys want to point out?
Nope, we're just gonna turn you into a baby goat, Wally.
Yeah, essentially.
Essentially.
The second episode that we watched was episode 8, and this is for Pehllwani.
Pehllwani.
Pehllwani, yes. This one took place in Varanasi, India.
Mm-hmm.
And the starting quote was, "Once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy," by Dan Gable.
Yes.
Who's Dan Gable?
Dan Gable's like considered to be like, I think, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, amateur wrestler of all
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
Like collegiate champion, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
like
right?
real wrestling, yes.
I forget what college. It was either Iowa or
Minnesota.
one of those. He like
Oh, the guy who had the super long streak.
no,
No?
Dan Gable's like an old man now.
Oh,
Two-time Division I national champ, world gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
does it say where he went to college?
It looks like it's Iowa State, maybe. Yeah, Iowa State.
Iowa State. Yes, Iowa State.
Okay.
A lot of medals.
Yeah.
5'9", 150, so not even a big dude.
Wow. Yeah. He's
Chad
like
Gable's
a little bit shorter
namesake.
than me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chad Gable's namesake, or what used to be Shorty G.
Yeah.
So we start off. They say that India has gone through a huge population and economic growth, but they remain very focused on their traditions and culture, which shows through their wrestling style, Pehllwani. We see two men in a room with a dirt floor who are grappling with each other, just trying to grapple each other to the
Amateur pin each other, but this looks like
Yeah.
awful conditions to wrestle.
Yes.
Yeah.
They can't even walk through sand like that.
Yeah.
How are they
They have to
wrestling?
stick around. That's where they want to be.
And they get slammed on it too, and it does not look fun.
Yeah. No.
No.
And they get like the dirt on their face, and they like rub it on their faces.
Because it's holy ground or whatever.
Yeah.
Weird.
So we hear a wrestling coach tell us that Pehllwani has been practiced since the time of their ancestors and gods, and it gives them three things: strength, skill, and knowledge. It traditionally takes place in holy temples for athletic training called akharas, which is where we see these guys wrestling. And wrestling has been a part of Indian culture since the 5th millennium BC. Eventually,
nuts.
Yeah, eventually Indians began to use physical activity as a way to honor one of their gods. I don't remember the name of the god. But then
yeah.
But their wrestling's been around forever.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, 4,000 years or something. 5,000 years.
It's insane.
Yep. In the 1900s was when they started to stage wrestling tournaments to show their physical strength to the British colonizers.
I like how both of these are like, fuck colonize, fuck Britain.
Yeah.
Both of these episodes.
Well, Congo, I'm pretty sure, wasn't that France?
Probably, actually, right.
Yes.
Because they spoke French in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But both anti-colony. Like,
Yeah,
we have wrestling
anti-colonial.
to clown on you guys. That's what we use it for.
So they're focusing on that outdated practices remain because of tradition, and then they go into, women aren't allowed to wrestle because it's taboo.
Yeah, they can't really do any sports, much less wrestling.
Yeah, it's a very patriarchal society. Women are supposed to be like the delicate flowers who take care, who cook and clean and stuff like that, and the men are supposed to be the ones who are showing their physical prowess.
Your opinion on that, Wally?
I disagree 100%. This all began to change in 2016 when, in the Olympics, Sakshi Malik won I think it was a bronze medal. She won a medal. I think it was a bronze medal, they said. And started to give awareness, and she caused a huge new group of female wrestlers to become a thing and start
She's basically a hero.
Yeah,
Basically a hero that they all wanted to be like. So they all
exactly.
started wrestling.
In 2016.
Which is crazy.
That's how very new this is. So they focus on two of these women who are preparing for wrestling's holy festival called Nag Panchami. Right? Not yeah.
I think that's it.
I'm trying to remember pronunciations, but
A lot of weird pronunciations in all these.
I'm doing the best I can. So
hard for a white American to pronounce these.
Yes. So they start with 4 days to the festival. We see two women grappling and practicing, and we meet Apeksha Singh, who says that strength and speed are the two most important words in wrestling. She started wrestling in 2017 at the age of 17. She actually started wrestling because she met Malik, the Olympian, when she came to her school, and it's just inspired her so much that she started to pick up wrestling. Singh wants to prove herself through sport, especially to the people who think women don't belong in it. So
these girls are super young too, aren't they?
Yeah, she's probably 19 at the time of this documentary, and then the other one we meet is actually 17.
That's insane.
Yeah. So they explain Pehllwani is similar to pro wrestling because it doesn't score points, but then they talk about scoring points.
Yeah, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
They have judges, they have a referee. Basically amateur wrestling.
But it's just you go till there's a winner.
Yeah, and it only ends in a pin.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't because there's a draw later.
Yeah, because they did say that there's a time limit.
Oh yeah, I think they agree upon a time limit, and that's
beforehand. Yeah. It's a 14 square foot dirt arena, which is watered every few days, so it's soft enough to avoid injuries, but hard enough to get good traction.
Yeah, so it's wet clay. It's not super soft.
Not fun. Not fun at all. Hard to walk in, hard to fall on.
Mm-hmm. And a pin is both shoulders and the hips down, which is technically what a pin is in pro wrestling, right? Both shoulders and hips.
You don't need hips.
No, not hips.
Not hips. Okay, I didn't. All right.
In amateur, maybe.
Okay, yeah, an amateur, yes. So it's kind of a mix of the two, it feels like. But so the number of Akara rings is very limited because that's their holy ground. So most new wrestlers have to train on like just the thin mats that we see, just like exercise mats. And then we meet Kashish Yadav. She is 17 years old, and she's both a friend and rival of Singh. She grew up wrestling because her whole family did. Her grandfather, his brother, it's a big family tradition for them.
Yeah, his grandfather's super famous for it, I think.
Yeah, he was a wrestling master, I guess. He started training her and training all the girls in their family. And he said that there was little interest in female wrestling when it first started. Yadav talks about how she just wants to have tough competition, and how her grandfather helps train other girls too because they come from poor families, and it's just, they like it. They seem like the good guy here, like the heroes of the story. Like whenever they're talking about the family, they're like, all right, well, they're trying to lift everybody up, kind of thing.
Yeah, I did like, because you think that if anyone, this is the guy that would be the most traditional, because he's the champion, the old, and he was like, they say men can't do it, and they're wrong, or that women can't do it, and they're wrong.
Right.
Yeah. She says his support for them is very important to her, because without his support, there's no chance of them wrestling. We go to 3 days before the festival, and Singh is from a village in Varanasi known as Yogyapur. and she comes from a very poor farming family because her father died early and her mother had no education, so she couldn't get a job. And her mom talks about how she wants her daughters to be free and unreliant of anybody else, especially for financial stability, because she just doesn't want her she doesn't want her daughters to suffer like she did and like most other women, Indian women, do. In Singh's village, girls aren't allowed into the akras. They're still banned, like it's still only for men.
Yeah, they can't even enter it, right? Like not wrestling,
Yeah,
they can't even go in it.
Yeah,
they can't even go in it. Yeah,
not allowed to walk in.
Yep. So Singh moved to Varanasi to be free and not constrained by the all those limitations. We move to one day before the festival, and Singh and Yadav have an exhibition match with each other to prepare for the festival. We should get a montage of the match and people giving their opinions on whether girls should fight or not. The first guy was adamantly against it. The second guy was like, no, they can do it. And then it seemed like most of the other people were for it as well.
People seemed for it and they were clapping and stuff. So
yeah. The announcer did like make to mention that the people would be seeing women versus men at some point. Like it wasn't going to just be
right.
All men.
Almost like if you're not comfortable with what we're doing, get out of here now.
Yeah. So Singh ends up winning the match, but Yadav's grandfather has her fight against the boy right after she lost to Singh. So she
it's like a blind match.
Yeah, an open challenge. So we see her go up against this random guy, and she keeps going. She goes for his legs a lot. She seems to be having a really good match, but it sounds like she's behind on score, which again,
what does that even mean?
Yeah,
we don't know. We can't figure out the scoring.
Yeah. The match does end in a draw, though, so it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it by scoring or if they were just like, it's an exhibition match. Like we're not going to say the girl lost or whatever. Like I couldn't tell if they're just saying it's a draw or if however it works, it was a draw.
That guy was not happy though. When they draw, he turns to the camera and he's like, "Fuck." He looks so pissed, and everybody loves her because she survived basically in the match. So.
I can't remember who was saying it, but it was probably that university lady. Who would talk in English. She said that women wrestling needs to be encouraged because it gives women a platform. And we see Yadav being surrounded by the crowd, and most people are congratulating her on a well-fought match. The announcer did seem to be like giving her half praise, but like backhanded praise, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I can't believe she did this. A great hand for her. Like, I can't, like, it's against all odds that she did this. So, like,
good booking.
It's still showing that like they've got some prejudices, even when people are moving along with it.
It was kind of interesting and nice to see like most of the crowd was into it.
Yeah.
Also, the venue, like the area this happened. It's like an amphitheater looking out on the water. It's insane. So cool looking.
Pretty cool.
That is awesome. Just a bunch of steps that everyone sits on and looks out over the water.
We see the two girls talking about the match, about Yadav's match against the boy. Later that night, they're on a boat and they're showing that even though they're technically rivals, they're really good friends as well. Then we go to Nag Panchami, which takes place at the Tulsi Akhara, which was founded in the 16th century. It's like the #1 Akhara in the country. Like it's the top notch. It's MSG. Anybody got an argument against that?
Holy ground.
It is. Yeah.
It's exactly the same. No,
The Mecca.
I agree. It is the same as Madison Square Garden.
So it seems like this was the first time that women were actually allowed to enter the Akara.
Yeah, they actually showed one guy saying like, "I'm going to let him in today."
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's like I'm being such a good person for letting them in for the first time.
For one day.
Yeah.
Not the rest of the days, just once.
Yeah. It's standing room only, and we see a montage of like a bunch of the matches and some of the practices around the Akara as afterwards. And Yadav says that the Akara is really the only place to become a real Pehllwani wrestler. So it kind of ends there, and they don't talk about how they did in the Akara in the Nag Panchami.
It's kind of interesting because when they show them walk in, they're just like, they don't even care if they're going to win or lose. They're just like, this is amazing that we can actually just wrestle on this ground.
Yeah.
Which is the other, like the practice looked more like more people and all that. And this is like just a bunch of people just standing around.
I think this was more like, this is just for Pehllwani wrestlers. Like that's why it's so small. It's so standing room only. This is the holy ground. This is only for people who practice Pehllwani. You can't watch, which is
exactly like Madison Square Garden. No one can watch anything there either.
Nope.
I mean, you don't really want to watch anything that's going on in there right now. It's bad.
Aren't the Rangers good?
No.
Absolutely
not anymore.
No.
Absolutely not. They're bad. And the Knicks are bad. And they only got the 8th pick, so they're not getting any better anytime soon. And you got your boy Tibbs. Coach Tibbs.
He was a good coach in Boston.
As an assistant?
Yeah.
Not Chicago? You're not going to give him credit for Chicago?
He was good there too, wasn't he?
I guess. Minnesota?
Okay, right? He was okay in Chicago.
No issues in Minnesota.
Yeah, nothing went wrong in either Chicago or Minnesota.
I don't remember when he was in Minnesota.
Yeah,
was that recent?
It wasn't long lived. All right, that's it. This is very interesting.
Game.
Yeah, no, I watched by accident. I watched the Italian one.
Of course,
Forense. Yeah, that was really good, and that you could see some stuff, some wrestling in that because it's every type of combat sport there is.
Wasn't that the rugby one? Okay, yeah.
Yes, which is just because there is MMA wrestling in that and boxing.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that one.
That was bonkers.
That's the first episode.
That's the first episode. That was a really good one. I didn't watch the pole one, but I also watched the roller derby one.
That was fun.
Roller derby takes a lot of their stuff clearly from wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, it depends too, because like I've seen like modern stuff where
it's a modern one.
They're real, but they have stage names and
right. Yes.
Showy stuff.
Watch the roller derby one. It's just like one you'd see anywhere. It's set in Austin, and they're and they have stage names and they have like big personalities and stuff, and they you could see a lot of these women also in wrestling. No ifs, ands,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And it was a very good show. Very good.
I like it. It's well done.
Yeah. My sister-in-law plays roller derby, and she goes by the name of Eleanor Bruisevelt.
I like it. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, so I would definitely check out the rest of these episodes because they do seem like they got some really cool things.
And there's only 9 of them.
I definitely want to watch that Highland episode, the Highland Games.
Is that the one where they play with like a dead animal?
No, that's the Scotland.
Highland Games where they toss a log around and stuff like that.
Oh, they did one like that? I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was the second episode. Oh. Yeah.
But nice.
Yeah.
No, it is a good series though.
Yeah, for sure.
Solid. Good series. All right, Bill. Can you keep the momentum going?
Well, that depends.
You're up next.
Oh, do we want to revisit our Booker Man, our group Booker Man for an episode?
If you want to, it's up to you.
I mean, I figure we could do that every few weeks.
Yeah.
Why not?
Let's revisit it.
We did some booking.
Well, you two, Wally and Ryan, you guys need to get your shows on the road.
Or are we behind?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much we were supposed to be doing.
Yeah, you know what? Do the, and I think so.
You want us to finish these shows and then book our next show?
Finish these shows, and then maybe for next week's show, I could flip on TV, and we can see what kind of ratings we do.
Okay.
For one episode. We could just do one show, and then I think I could flip.
One monthly show plus the pay-per-views?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But then I think I could flip it off again.
Okay, so for next week, we will have
TV.
Yeah, for next week, we will have done 2 pay-per-views.
One pay-per-view, and then you're going to let us book
and then set up a second pay-per-view. Okay, so we already did the one pay-per-view and set up a second one.
Yes. Okay. Let's do that.
All right.
So Wally and I still need to book this new pay-per-view we're on.
Let me see. Wally needs to book.
You guys do this.
Wally needs to book No Way Out. Yeah, I'm sorry, Wally, but Thrasher's hurt, so I know that throws you're booking into a tizzy.
My God.
And Ryan needs to book Excite Series. And you check out your emails, Ryan.
I had
both of them
just enough. I had just enough for my Royal Rumble. I had 31 people for my to pick from for my Royal Rumble. So everybody.
You had Royal Rumble off TV, off our TV.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah,
who won your Royal Rumble?
We'll find out next week.
He doesn't remember.
We'll find out next week.
He doesn't remember.
Teaser.
You can go look, can't you, Mike?
I can look right now. Wow.
It was
lost Royal Rumble.
Who did I give it to? I gave it to.
Don't say. Let me see. Company events. Here it is. Royal Rumble went to.
It was the heel.
Oh boy!
Because I needed to push him against
Tito Santana.
Oh no, that's right. That's right.
Why?
Because I simulated it.
Oh my God, Tito!
Tito's a part-timer, I believe.
Tito won the Royal Rumble in 1998.
Oh, you didn't have any part-time.
Yeah, he's not a part-timer.
Oh, that's right. He's not.
Not yet.
Let me see.
He's a ledge. He's full legend.
Where is he? Is he a lower mid-card guy?
He's a lower mid-card guy.
Oh my! What a deal!
I'm pretty sure he is.
There he is. No, he's right about to hit main event. It's Tito and Triple H. Tito
that's why, because he won the Royal Rumble. Obviously, he's about to hit
44 years old. 44-year-old Royal Rumble winner.
One final run.
Yep. He's coming for you, Jumbo. 46-year-old.
Once in a lifetime.
Well, my freaking
you might as well start a retirement thing. Loser leaves.
Yeah. My objective is to make a Jumbo Ceruto the face of the company. So I have to do that.
He's hot right now. He is a face of the company.
No, he's not. My objective's not done, is it?
Jumbo, he's got a star, which I believe means he's a face of the company.
Oh, you've completed a goal?
Let me see if I completed the goal.
You check your emails.
No. I'm sorry. That's Stone Cold. Stone Cold's the face, and he's on his way. 4 months. He's on his way.
So I need to book him for 4 months before he gets a face?
Yeah.
But before he gets to be face of the company.
I will say this. In my last pay-per-view, Shawn Michaels and Kawada put on 5-star, maybe higher. I think a 5-star match, of course. And then the champ, Shawn Michaels, got hurt.
Oh, you had to vacate the belt?
Oh, we can't. We don't know how. You don't know how long he's out for yet.
I don't know yet. Yeah.
You had to vacate it.
I do like that we have actual doctors and stuff, because on my free game I didn't have doctors.
No, you don't have doctors, but still, that's tough to do because some of that stuff takes a while to upgrade.
Yeah.
But then they get healthy quick. But I was able to almost buy out I could have bought out ECW and I could have bought out New Japan, but I didn't have the talent manager or something
on your own
to be able to buy out a company. I was like, ugh. So But
in mine, I had no gimmick matches available except for death match, so I had to add a match. So I added explosion match,
Oh yes, yes.
which I just made up. Explosion match,
How'd that go?
and it got over big, but not big enough to
big
raising the ratings at all.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to make some more weird gimmick matches.
right, let's see what your last company event.
I
So you
feel
did.
like it was solid.
You
but-
had your Misawa versus Taz was a 5.5 star.
which was an
match.
explosion match.
It was an explosions match.
Explosion match.
Yeah, oh no. Ooh, that Vicious Delicious versus Job Squad. Not good. And you lost 19,700 fans.
Wow.
That's what you lost. Let's see.
ECW picked up all the fans, didn't they?
Wally
Yeah.
lost. Wally lost. Oof, Wally. You lost 19,100 fans.
Yeah.
God.
What
is going on?
See, WCW. Who's that? Who's WCW?
Nate.
Bill. You stayed even. You didn't lose anything. Nothing.
Oh, you.
Oh.
Didn't lose any fans.
And this is those. I'm pushing some guys that aren't that popular, but when they explode, it's going to be huge. I'm pushing Mick Foley and Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah. Good pushes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So next week is going to be more
More booking.
mans.
More booking.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, Shawn Michaels and Clown in a 5-star match.
I got a lot of work to do before we get there.
Yep.
Okay. That's it.
Okay.
That is the end. Go watch Home Game on Netflix. It's good.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Next week, we're going to book more stuff. Actually, we're going to do a lot of booking because technically an hour of booking is a lot of booking. So
you know what I need to do? I need to see, because I guess you could add segments. You could I don't know. I need to look into adding custom segments.
Every time I play, I learn something new about the game, which is cool.
Because there's something you could do, because people can create stuff and you can input it in your game, certain things.
Yeah.
So
you can make your own gimmick match, which I have to do 6 more of.
Yes.
And you can do all kinds of customization on the there's a whole customize your own segment thing.
Yes. And that's what people do. People in the community create segments, and then you could import them in somehow. I think I need to look into that. All I know is I'm gonna offer a bunch of money to Bill's top talent, and then when he declines them, his talent's gonna be pissed off and unhappy.
No.
That's what.
Oh no!
Yep.
Is that about to happen?
I will offer favorite nations if I need to.
Oh, favorite nations. You got to get Norman Smiley away from him.
And the trades. I wanted to trade so bad with ECW, but I
gotta learn how to do that.
I
messed up the Bradshaw trade.
I like in the trade.
Yeah, you made a trade.
Yeah. I tried trading for Ric Flair, but the thing is I like that in a trade. Like, if no matter what happens with the trade, it costs you money. Like even if it's declined, it costs you $100.
Damn,
so,
not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Make a bunch of trades, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah. I tried making 2, one for Flair and then one for, I think, Dusty. And the thing is if someone's like hot or over, with the flame, it's
you're not gonna get them.
You're not gonna get them.
But you did make a trade. What was it, Bradshaw for who?
For Booker for 3 months. So now I'm gonna heat up Booker. Stevie Ray, that's right. I'm gonna heat up Stevie Ray because making my chair and then send him back. It's gonna be a top talent.
Help Pill out.
I should bury him.
You should bury him.
I should. What I should do is have Booker turn on him. Send him running.
Wow.
Yep.
That's right. I'm just gonna pull Okada Bradshaw then. I'm gonna give him some dumb gimmick and make him lose every time.
Change his gimmick.
Oh no.
Dummy Bradshaw.
Bradshaw. All right, that's it. That's the end of this. We'll be back with more fun stuff next week. Peace out.
See ya.